So if I had to start over again and do it all from scratch, having no contacts, no real book of business, just getting into the industry, how would I level up? How would I grow my business? And what are some of the things that I would focus on in order to bring myself the most amount of success? We're going to talk about just that exact concept. But first, I'm going to go ahead and cue our intro.
Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast.
All right, all right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Matt Milia here, and I'm super excited because, well, this is one of my first solo podcasts in quite some time. And I did this strategically because we just crossed over the 7 years in business threshold. And for me, I mean, that is so exciting because it's really a milestone that a lot of businesses within the first couple of years just fall flat, they fail. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that we've done in order to keep our business sustainable. But also, I'm going to share with you some of the ways that we got started. And of course, if you're in the business world today, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, I'm also going to share some things with you that's going to help you level up. Ideally, I want to help you guys take your business to the next level, and ultimately take your life to that next level. And there's quite a few things that I want to go through with you guys. So first things first is give you guys a little bit of background and context. So I started off in business. I was well, I'll go all the way back. I'll go back to even my high school years. Most teachers, all of them said, hey, this guy, yeah, he's a sharp guy, but he doesn't pay attention. He's not on point. He's not focused on his work. He doesn't really show that drive or initiative. I was not an A plus student by any stretch of the imagination. I was very much so a CD student. But what drove me and everything I ever took was always, hey, this guy needs to be an entrepreneur. I went to school for auto mechanics, got out of that, couldn't stand it, and got into banking and mortgages. The subprime meltdown happened, and I had to pivot and go into something else. And now, present day, I've had appointments today for going on 7 years. We are a lead generation and lead conversion company, and we focus on inside sales. Our main objective is working with real estate agents and loan officers to help their business grow. But I've also worked in many other niches, including insurance. We've worked in solar, Cairo. We've worked in concrete coatings. We've worked in the med spa industry. So we've got a pretty wide array of different industries that we've put our time into. And the number one thing that I would say that separates the good from the great is a lot of times when things start to slow down a little bit. And when I say slow down, I mean slow down in the business where you might not be seeing as much volume. Now, of course, if you're a real estate agent, this is happening to a lot of realtors right now, because the there's not as much inventory as there was in the past. I mean, it's starting to pick up again, but there's not as much inventory as there has been historically. So a lot of agents are starting to slow down. But naturally, as we slow down, we contract and we restrict. And what I mean by contracting and restricting, it means that you're not actually taking any more calculated risks. A lot of people are playing not to lose opposed to playing to win. And when you play not to lose, the problem with that is that you're only going to get so much business coming to you. So everything is going to start to slow down increasingly And that's not what you want. I mean, as a business owner, there's nothing worse than watching your business slow down. And I'm going to share something with you guys. So for the months that we are absolutely just killing it. A month that's really good for us is that we're bringing in $30,000 to $40,000 in new monthly revenue sales. A month that we're not doing so good, we're only bringing in a couple of $1,000s. And I'm going to tell you that the big difference between the months with the months where we're doing 40, 50 grand and the months that we're doing a few grand is bringing in new business through prospecting, bringing in new business through running advertising, and ultimately investing into the business. Now, I know a lot of people think, well, gee, if I'm not closing all of these deals or things are getting more challenging, shouldn't I pull back and conserve the money? The answer to that question is absolutely not. That is the worst thing that you can do. And it's one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make. Now, I'm going to tell you, of course, I'm not saying to go out and spend your last dime on marketing, but you need to be strategic about it. One of the most important things that I've done, and I'll share with you guys a personal story. Back in 20, I want to say it was, well, it was it was going into 2021. Our business was struggling at that point. We were, just like everybody else. I mean, though we were coming out of the medical crisis. Everyone was really scared to invest and double down into their businesses. And one of the things that we did to help pull us out is we started running ads on Google, started running search ads on Google. Never ran ads on Google before, but I found a coach that was in our Facebook group. The coach, I mean, he wasn't cheap. I mean, we invested a pretty penny into him, but I'll tell you that I think we ended up, after all was said and done, between the coaching and the investment, it was like $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And I was scared to death because I'm sitting there thinking, wow, what if this doesn't work? I mean, if I go a couple of months and I don't get anything out of this, I mean, there's a good chance that we were going to have to shut our doors. And I will tell you that the first month we didn't get much. We did get some appointments, we got some opportunities, got some leads, but none of them were really ready to make any moves. Had a lot of leads that just were not ready to make moves. The second month, we had closed our first deal, but we were still dangerously in the red. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to give it one more month, and let's see what comes of that. Gave it one more month, and after that month, we made all of our money back at the end of that third month, and we got to a point where we had finally just broken even. Now, I know a lot of you guys are sitting here thinking, well, where's the win there? Well, the win after the third month, the fourth month, we doubled our investment from what we spent the month before, and then every single month after that, we started to double up, triple up. We started to get like about around a 3 times return, 3 to almost 4 times return on investment on a monthly basis, and from there, I mean, we ran that for about a good 7, 8 months until we started to see the drop off. And then again, had to pivot. But this is why I'm telling you guys the biggest challenge that, I mean, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're real estate, if you're a loan officer, concrete, I mean, if you're an investor, it doesn't matter what you're in. The worst thing that you can do is contract and restrict during these difficult times. These are the times you got to double down. Whether that means that you're prospecting and making calls for yourself and you're just reaching out, whether that means that you are hiring someone to do it, I'd highly recommend, and I know, of course, I may be a little biased, but I always recommend that you should hire an inside sales rep, somebody to do the heavy lifting for you. And of course, if you can't go the route of actually hiring someone in house, you go with a virtual company. By the way, we have a virtual company. Feel free to reach out to me for that. I'd be glad to just even have a conversation with you. Even if you're not ready yet, would love to have a conversation and help put you in a position so that you can win. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of agents are having right now is that they are just not investing into their business, and really just business owners in general. They're not investing in their business. They are running really, really scared. And I'm going to tell you that when doing so, you're going to attract what you're putting out there. For me, and I, of course, made this, I told you guys in the beginning, if I had to start all over again, the first thing that I would do is I would look for influencers. What do I mean by that? Well, we'll just take it for example here. Let's say I was getting started off in the I know this isn't really my audience, but I'm just going to use it as an example, and then of course I can also deviate in other things. Uh, let's take Cairo, for example. If I were to start off in the chiropractic space, the first thing that I would do is I would find a doctor or or well, of course I'd find a chiropractor that is highly regarded, highly recognized. I'd find somebody who's an influencer in the medical space, and that person that's an influencer in the medical space, I would do everything I could to get, whether it's get a lunch with them, get in front of them, pick their brain and find out what it is that the market needs right now. And I'll tell you guys for for real estate, like I would actually, if it were me personally, I would find a business owner, somebody who's been a local business owner in the space for a long time, has a lot of connections, knows a lot of people within the industry, knows a lot of people there locally. Uh, Barbers are great. A barber is a wealth of knowledge and information. Someone that's gonna, of course, know the ins and outs of the industry or what's going on in their local market. Local restaurant owner. And the best thing you can do is, of course, interview them. Do a quick interview, post that video out there. One of the things, though, that you want to be known for in your space is you want to be known for the person that's always on video, but giving away great value, which is what I'm doing here today. I want to give you guys as much value as I can. That is something that you need to do in your local space as the local agent, as an expert. And you can do that through bringing in a group of talented folks like barbers, like restaurant owners, so an insurance agency owner. Find people that are influencers within your community and collaborate with them. Because once you start that collaboration, they're going to open your mind up to an entire new set of possibilities. Again, a lot of us, when business starts to slow down, we restrict, we pull inwards, we think, okay, I'm going to pull myself out of this. Very rarely is it ever the case that you're going to be able to pull yourself out by yourself. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because it does, but in a lot of cases, what we find is that when we become more pulling back and just keeping everything to ourselves and bottling it up, it does make it very difficult for you to expand and grow. So the biggest thing, if you're just getting started, whether it's a new business, find influencers and find people who have great connections within the industry, and then connect with those influencers in the industry. Also, find somebody who's already done it. Find somebody who's already dug themselves out of that hole, who has grown their business exponentially and has done the exact same thing you want to do. You'd be surprised that there are a lot of folks out there that are very willing, even if it's in a competing space, they are willing to help you grow because of the fact that they believe in the law of abundance, and they don't have this mindset of scarcity, which is one of the most dangerous mindsets that most folks have during this time. A lot of us think in a way where we're constantly looking at what is going to go wrong and when will it go wrong. That is a mindset of fear, and fear is going to stop you from getting to that next level. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again: fear is false evidence appearing real. You've got, and hey, I deal with fear all the time. We all do. But you have to push past that. You have to get yourself into a place, into a mental space of knowing that if you do the right things and you keep investing and keep reinvesting into the business, you are going to get a lot out of it. So I want to give you all I want to give you guys some great action items and some things that you can do to drive business right away. One is, the first thing you want to do is, of course, get a coach, guys. If you don't have somebody coaching you, or you don't have a mentor, I'd highly recommend to do that. The next thing that you should do 100% is get yourself a solid, either if you want to shoot videos on your phone, shoot videos on your phone, but get yourself a solid camera. It doesn't even need to be a very expensive one. I'll give you guys a great example. I'm using a Logitech HD 1080p. I bought this, I want to say now, 3 years ago. And this camera at the time, I want to say was like $70, which really, I mean, if you think about it, is not that expensive. Invest into a decent, if you're making sales calls, get yourself a decent headset, or of course, get yourself a decent microphone. They've got great microphones that you could find, podcast microphones or interview microphones that start off between 130 and $300. Of course, yes, it's an investment, but guys, I mean, you need to get in front of as many people as you possibly can. And the more videos that you shoot, people get to learn a little bit more about you and always be making offers. Now, a lot of times people ask me, well, hey, I shoot videos, but I'm not seeing anything from them. Okay. Well, where are you posting the videos? When are you posting the videos? How consistent are you with your videos? How often are you going on different social media platforms and posting those videos? These are all questions that I ask them. And of course, I always get the same thing while I'm going to my business page. I'm going to tell you guys that if you're going to post videos from your business page, understand that you are not going to get a whole lot of engagement whatsoever. The only way that you're going to get engagement posting on your business page is by you have to actually do what's basically called boosting a post. I'm not a huge fan of boosting posts. I do not recommend that as an overall singular strategy. But if you're doing nothing else, meaning you've got only so much to invest and that's where you're at, then yes, boost your post. You can get, for the most part, Facebook has gotten better with dialing in their targeting. So meaning you can target specific businesses, business owners to do a boosted post. So what I'm saying to you is that if you're a business owner and if you're thinking about marketing and getting yourself in front of more people, boost your posts. That will definitely start getting you in the right direction. My advice for the folks here if you're a business owner that's doing six figures, and let's say that you're in that six figure loophole where you're doing well, but you're noticing that you're not bringing in anywhere near the same amount of business you were before. I would highly, highly recommend that you start looking at your daily activities and you start really focusing on what is it that has your attention. And any tasks that are underneath the amount of money that you want to pay yourself, hire that out or hire that out. That's what I mean. Find somebody that'll do those tasks for you. Meaning, and I'll give you a great example. I had an agent a few years ago was closing about 50 transactions by themselves a year. Now, I mean, that's a really, really great number. I mean, 50 transactions by yourself, that means they were doing on average about a little over four deals a month. The challenge that the agent had, they had a couple challenges. The one challenge they had is they had no one to help them with any of their day-to-day stuff. They were working, I think when we broke down the hours, they were working like 15 or 16 hours a day. I mean, it was insane. Starting off the workday at about 7 a.m. Well, between 7 and 8, I think they went to the gym around 7. Started off the workday though at 8 a.m. and usually didn't end their workday till about 11 or 12 o'clock every single night. Um, that's that's not a good quality of life. I mean, that's really rough. To work that many hours and have just enough time to pretty much unwind, maybe uh, relax for an hour, have 1 hour a day to yourself, and then the rest of the day is just grinding away and working. That's going to put you into a really bad state of mind. And for most of you guys that are watching this, it's so vital that you invest in other areas of your business. So the first thing that I told them to invest in, and of course, they asked me point blank, hey, should I get an inside sales rep? I said, absolutely not. That is not where you need to be at this point. You're already growing your business. What you need to invest in is a virtual assistant, either a virtual assistant or someone in your office that can help take the day-to-day challenges off your plate. So whether that's like a closing coordinator or a closing assistant. So they ended up taking my advice. I referred them off to another organization. They found a company that provided virtual assistants, and that helped free up so much time. Went from working 16 hours a day down to about 8 or 9 hours a day. which completely changed the agent's entire outlook on life. Once after about 4 or 5 months, they reached back out to me and said, "Hey, now do you think I should get an inside sales rep?" Well, yeah, absolutely. That's now you're at a place now where the you've got everything built out properly. You've got your quality of life is where you want it to be, and you're good to go. Now, here's what I'm gonna tell you guys though. Anytime that you are investing into your business, doesn't matter what it is, it's going to take a little bit of time before you start to see the results, before you start to see the fruits of the labor. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to hire an inside sales rep and I'm going to get immediate, instant results, or I'm going to hire a virtual assistant and now all of my struggles and challenges and problems are gone. Guys, I mean, it's so far from reality. And you have to understand that everything that you do in life is you have to question by testing. And if you want to get further than where you've ever gone, you've got to double down and invest. You have to. And I know that my objective and goal here is to help you guys shift your mental is just shift what you're focusing on and expand it to where you can really understand and rationalize, conceptualize, and put this in an action plan where you're literally just putting together a notebook and you've got your action plans written out and you follow that every single day because guys, we know what you end up focusing on, you find, and where your focus is, it's going to expand. And you have to understand that in order for you to maneuver these challenging times, the worst thing that you can do is hold on to every penny, every cent that you make. You have got to invest in yourself and in your business. It's the number one thing that you can do to grow yourself, grow your business, grow your brand. Without that, it will be very, very challenging to get to that next level. So, guys, I mean, for everybody that's watching, and I'm looking at a couple of my notes here because I want to make sure that I hit everything. Um, Going over everything that we went through, get a coach. That's really, really important. Find somebody, a mentor, someone who's done what you're looking to accomplish and duplicate what they're doing. Always keep your top of funnel full. That means always be shooting videos, making offers, making sure everyone knows what you do. That's really, really important. And for any of you guys that struggle or need a content strategy or want some help knowing how to do that, reach out to me. I'd love to help you out with that. The other one here is establish your key performance indicators, which I know I didn't bring that part up, but it is really, really important. Know every day that what you're focusing on is helping you grow the business. Know that it's bringing you closer to your objectives and goals. The next thing here is that, if you're in a place in your business where you're not seeing as much coming in, figure out what are the highest producing return on investment activities, and either you do those yourself, or if you don't want to do those yourself, hire someone to do it. I'm telling you guys, the worst thing that you can do right now is to contract and restrict. That is what so many of us are doing. I talked to probably about 3 to 4 uh, potential prospects daily, and one of the folks that I spoke with, the one thing they told me is, well, I think they said their team did 193 transactions the prior year, but this year they're barely on pace to do 90. I said, well, what changed? And of course, they told me they shut all these leads down. They shut down every single lead generation platform they had. They shut down all of their efforts. They got rid of their inside sales reps. They got rid of their lead gen platforms, and then they said, yeah, we did that to save money. Well, cutting down marketing to save money is one of the worst things you can do. I mean, hell, I would borrow money just so I could market. That is going to help you drive massive results. And I'm not telling you guys I'll sit here and take out massive loans and go borrow money. It's not my objective. My objective is to share with you guys that the struggle that they had is they went from doing 193 to being now on pace to do under 100. Same amount of agents, same everything, but they restricted And of course, I said, well, yeah, now we saved a lot of money for a month or two, but then of course you start to see the avalanche effect, where now all of your business is just solely based on referrals. And referrals is great, but referrals only go so far. Referrals is Having referrals is the core base of your business, but you have to have other legs of your business that are going to drive in revenue. And we started working with them, I want to say it was 6 or 7 months ago, and now all of a sudden they're back on pace to get into that one, the close to 200 range, because we started lead generating for them. We started helping them get their brand, get everything going out there for them, get themselves known again, and just re-push the right buttons to get them to that next level of success. You have to be able to do that. You got to be able to do it for yourself, for your business. You can't just believe that by contracting and restricting that you are going to win, because you won't. And I'm going to actually give some credit here. Nick Krem, who he actually he worked for me for a few years and then went off, started their own thing. Is also a cousin of mine. One of the things that he always told me, because I was always in that same mindset too. Well, if I contract, I restrict, I don't double down, I don't invest. If you're playing not to lose, you're going to eventually lose. If you're playing to win, you're going to win. It's all about mindset and mentality and doubling down and making sure that you're doubling down on the right things. And again, guys, you got to question by testing. Can't tell you how many times I talk to people and say, "Oh, I've done something like this before and it never worked and I lost all this money and this, that, and the other thing." Guys, congrats. Welcome to being a business owner. Do you know how many times I've spent? I mean, I've probably invested over $150,000 on educational programs and things that just did not work. And I mean, I obsessed over them. I learned the ins and outs. I brought somebody else in to even help learn those ins and outs with it, and it just did not work. And then the one thing that I did invest in, all of a sudden, after testing all these different things, all of a sudden that worked. That made me hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it more than offset my losses. So you have to think about this, guys, from an investment standpoint. You got to invest, try new things, try new programs, try new products, test them, test them, test them, test them. You have to. It's going to help drive those results that you need in your business. And give them some time. I always say to give everything at least, my minimum standard is usually 5 to 6 months. Once something hits about that 6 month mark, especially when it comes to lead generation and lead conversion, it is an activity that takes some time. You got to give it the time to make it work. So I know I jumped into a lot of different places here, but for all of you guys watching this, the main thing I want you to take away is that we've been in business for 7 years, have made countless mistakes. But the best advice and the biggest opportunity that I can share with you is that if you invest in yourself and you educate yourself and you learn new skills, you learn new tactics, you learn new strategies, and you invest in the right people and the right products and the right services, your business will be built to last and you'll be able to weather any single storm that's out there. So I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. I love shooting these, and this is actually more or less, these are my favorite ones where I can kind of sit down and give you guys some real actionable items. I always love having guests, but I also love to when I can just pour into you and I can give you guys the insights that I know helped us build our business, and I could tell you what to do and what not to do. It's one of my favorite things. If you guys want to reach out to me, if we're not already connected on Facebook, feel free to shoot me a message. You can shoot me a message on Facebook. You can reach out to me via social media. But you can also go and reach out to me at appointmentstoday.net. I'd love to sit down with you, love to talk with you about your business and helping you grow, and showing you how you could do that in a very show you how to do that in a very duplicatable and very easy way. So, guys, for all of you on here, I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. And we'll catch you here on the next episode next week. See ya.